Hi. Happy Thanksgiving. Here on the set, I play Mike Gallagher of the new series Rituals. But today, I get to step out of my character and bring you 5 hours of some of the funniest I Love Lucy episodes ever. Now, it's no secret that I really love Lucy. As a matter of fact, I talked to the writers, and I convinced them to write it into the show. Now, in our first episode here, the Ricardos and the Merchants plan a cross-country trip to California. Fred spends 4 hours of packing up the car with all the stuff that the girls wanted to bring. The car was so full it didn't have room for these. That's how I got them. So, either take the turkey into the den or bring the TV into the kitchen, because we're about to begin a full day of fun with Lucy.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
Babaloo! Well, I'm sure you're going to enjoy this next episode called The Hollywood Anniversary. It's actually based on Lucy and Desi's real-life 13th wedding anniversary, when Desi threw a surprise party for Lucy at their favorite night spot. In this episode, however, Ricky doesn't quite remember the exact date of their anniversary. And when Lucy finds out, you can just imagine what's in store for poor Ricky.
And now back to the comedy as we continue with our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon. KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
Lucy, I'm home. I always wanted to do that. You know, I've seen some fans do some pretty crazy things to meet their favorite celebrities, but nothing tops Lucy when she sets her sights on Cornell Wilde. And we all know that Lucy has never been known to let obstacles get in her way. And she certainly doesn't disappoint us in this one. The star upstairs. Oh, I've been elected to make Thanksgiving Day dinner for the crew.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
Boy, aren't these shows great. Wait till you see the next one. Lucy and Ethel take a sightseeing tour of the stars' homes in Beverly Hills. When Lucy passes the home of Richard Whitmark, she can't resist climbing his backyard wall and picking a grapefruit. You know, to add to her souvenir collection. Well, as usual, Lucy's simple plan turns into a fiasco. She loses her balance, and she literally drops in on Whitmark. Now, see if the streets in this episode look familiar. Let's watch, all right?
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
You know, a Lucy marathon would not be complete without this episode, Lucy and the Dummy. This is my favorite one. Lucy has never been closer to fulfilling her dream of a career in show business. It all starts when Ricky turns down an offer from MGM to perform for the top executives. He'd rather be deep-sea fishing. However, Lucy has other ideas, and as they say, the show must go on. And boy, does it ever. Don't these things come stuffed?
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
My character on Rituals doesn't exactly live at the Ritz, but neither do Lucy and Ricky, which poses a big problem in our next episode. The Ricardos are interviewed. The television show Face to Face wants to film them at home, but finds that their apartment, well, less than impressive. You see, the Mertzes really don't want Lucy and Ricky to be embarrassed on TV. So they deliberately pick a fight with them in hopes that they will move to a nicer place. The program Face to Face leaves the Ricardos and the Mertzes at each other's throats. So let's take a look.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
Lucy is famous for her harebrained schemes, and they always backfire on her. Like this one, filmed in 1956, called Lucy Gets a Paris Gown. Lucy tries to convince Ricky that she's willing to absolutely starve herself until he buys her a Jacques Marcel dress. When Ricky discovers her starvation is just a ploy, he decides to have the last laugh. And Ricky and Fred become fashion designers and create their own Paris originals for the girls. This story, it's bound to leave you in stitches.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
I forgot the cranberry sauce. What's Thanksgiving without cranberry sauce? Well, I guess it could be a lot worse, like when the gang found themselves trapped in an avalanche in a deserted cabin. They start to think that they'll never be rescued, and they begin to reveal their deepest secrets. Well, they do get saved, and it's by a Bavarian band. Okay, Lucy fans, can you remember what song the band was playing? Well, we're about to find out right now.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
Oh, hi. Listen, I got a piece of trivia for you. In the next episode, Lucy does the tango. It was one of the biggest laughs ever recorded on the I Love Lucy show. 65 seconds. Bet you didn't know that. You see, the laughing stems from a famous scene where Lucy stuffs dozens of eggs into her clothes. But the joke's on her because she's forced to rehearse the tango with Ricky for an upcoming PTA show. Little Ricky makes an appearance in this one, and contrary to popular belief, it is not Desi Arnaz Jr., but it's an actor named Richard Keith.
KTTV presents a feast of classic comedies as Ken Shriner hosts our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon.
You know, no matter how hard Ricky tries to teach Lucy a lesson, it always ends up backfiring on him. In the next comedy of errors, Ricky is taking a vacation, and Lucy, like any wife, can't stand to see him sit around idle. So she decides to put him to work building the family barbecue. And in the midst of the project, he finds her wedding ring, carelessly left by a bucket of cement. So that gives Ricky some concrete ideas. Speaking of barbecues, I better check on my dinner before it goes up in smoke. Well, I hope you enjoyed our special I Love Lucy Thanksgiving Marathon as much as I enjoyed being here. You know, we picked some of the best I Love Lucy shows for you, and that was real easy because when it comes to Lucy, there are no turkeys. Well, happy Thanksgiving, and don't forget, tune in to Rituals right here on Channel 11, weeknights at 8 p.m. So long.